Good morning, friends. Welcome to the 18th episode of State of the Market Live. Today is Wednesday, and it is June 29, 2022. Tomorrow is expiry, and today we're going to have a decent move on the downside. Let's discuss what Nifty Futures and Bank Nifty Futures are doing, what they have done yesterday, and what they're going to do today. As we are speaking, SGX Nifty is below the top of the range. We tried to break 15,951 around these levels. However, they have come down to almost 15,690 in the past two trading sessions. So you see that we could not break 15,951 and we are trying to get to the bottom of the range. So as SGX Nifty is weak, we need to also check what S&P futures are doing. So let's see what S&P futures are doing. So they are also at the bottom levels. You see that S&P futures are trading near 3822. This is the level I told you, which is like a line on sand. If we are trading above 3822, we could be positive. But if we break this, there can be severe negativity in both US markets as well as Indian markets. So the kind of move that SGX is witnessing today is because of this down move in S&P futures. You see that they collapsed late in the day in New York session. And now we see that they are trading in a very small range around 3822 levels. Now let's see what is in store for Nifty futures and Bank Nifty futures. Yesterday, this is the range that I have identified for you, saying that the market should move within this range. And if you notice, we have mostly remained in this range, and during the fag end of the day, the market moved up. But this was not convincing. This was not at all convincing. And that is the reason why I told you yesterday that there is a fair chance of we getting into this particular zone for expiry. My thesis is that US markets are going through quarter-end rebalancing. That means during the quarter-end, most of the stocks, most of the sectors will be rebalanced by mutual funds and long-only funds for making up their NAVs. For this reason, the market will be a lot volatile. That's why we saw S&P futures coming down to 3822 levels. During this time, even our markets will react and we may trade between this range, in this particular range, until expiry, that is tomorrow. Only tomorrow or on Friday, we may have a move on the upside or on the downside. I'll keep my options open on either side. However, there can be a move intermittently if we break 951 level. So the level you need to keep watching for any major up move is 15,951. On the downside, you need to keep this zone as very important for breaking the downside. Until then, options are going to witness a lot of selling in this zone, which will burst on Friday. Now let's see what is in store for Bank Nifty. In Bank Nifty, the situation is same. So we have to notice here that we tried to get into the range. So unlike in Nifty, where we could not get into the range, you see here, we could not get into the range. In Bank Nifty, we got into the range, but we immediately got back into the bottom of this range. So this is one key negative for Bank Nifty. If we had traded here and then moved down, we would have been very clear about the trend. That means if we had opened here and trading range, that is fine. However, you see that we are now below this gap and we tried to get into the gap and then we failed, and this is a kind of larger weakness that we need to witness. So now what are the options in Bank Nifty today? So in Bank Nifty, we will end up trading in this particular range. So this is the range we need to be looking at. So what are the other options in Bank Nifty if at all we have to go above this top of the range? For example, if we break 33,740, that is yesterday's high, we need to get into this level. So we need to get into 34,000 levels for any upside. We need to get about 34, 31 levels for any upside. Otherwise, there is a fair chance we break into this bottom of the range, and here it is very important to note that we can get all the way down to, unless in Nifty where we have an intermittent range, we do not have such possibility in Bank Nifty, because the entire zone is filled with action and we may see a greater downfall in Bank Nifty. The key difference in the structure of Nifty and Bank Nifty futures is that in Nifty, we did not break into the gap zone and are sticking to a range. That means there were no expectations built in Nifty. However, in Bank Nifty, the expectations were to close or fill the gap and then go higher. However, we try to break down. So now a lot of players, a number of stops here will get hit over the next 2 days. However, we need to notice the pre-open before taking any action during the regular trading hours. We need to see what is happening in the pre-open and then take a decision. Now let's look at some of the stocks. In Reliance, yesterday we saw some action. It tried to open on the upside because of some news. However, today we need to break this particular zone in Reliance for us to get into the gap zone. That means we need to fill this zone first. Just hold on, guys. I need to see why there is a large. Just a minute. Okay, so we need to see, kind of open beyond this range, or we need to break this particular zone for us to go to higher levels. That is why I said earlier in the day, yesterday, that we have to break 2568. This is the zone we have to break for any move on the upside. Otherwise, there is a fair action to be happening on the downside around these levels. Let's look at other stocks. For example, let's look at what is happening in HDFC Bank. Yesterday, we could not see any action in this. So there is a very lull action, and these two zones remain important for HDFC Bank futures to trade. So there is nothing happening here. So we need to see HDFC as well, which is the other twin. Yeah, same action. So we need to break either of these zones for any trend move in HDFC and HDFC Bank futures. So another important thing we need to notice is Hcl Technologies, which is showing some kind of traction on the upside. Yesterday, there was a lot of action in volume terms, which I highlighted. So this is the zone where Hcl Technologies witnessed a lot of action yesterday. So you see that this is the zone. So we need to break above 1010. We need to break about 1010 for any considerable move in this stock. So any move about 1010 or even 1013 can bring a lot of action to the upside. So today, if the markets are managed on the downside, so one stock that would perform well today can be Hcl Technologies along with Infosys. Let's also check Infosys. Yes, you see that it has closed the gap, and we may aim for this particular zone today if IT is taken on the upside. If HCL Technologies has a chance to go up, then even Infosys has a decent chance to go until 1500 to 1520 levels. So keep the IT on radar. Let's see what is happening in TCS. Same. So again, here you see that like in Bank Nifty, we were rejected the gap zone. So again, we may try to fill the gap, and the potential looks on the upside rather than on the downside. So a move above 33.22 or 33.25 levels can lead towards 33.65. So let's keep a watch on IT today. And let's again revisit once what is happening in Reliance. Reliance had a news about its change in MD. So we need to break this. If the market has to be positive, Reliance has to go above this zone and also clear this gap for any considerable move on the upside towards 2580 and 2600 levels. That's all for today, guys. Have a great day. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye-bye.